We're here in storm alert mode on the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams, live from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. No rain falling yet here, but the winds sure are blowing. I'll have a live report coming up next.
Just look at this. In a raw demonstration of power, Hurricane Frances ripped a boat free from its moorings in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Abaco Island in the Bahamas is reeling from Frances's fury. The bent-over palm trees really drive home just how powerful this hurricane is.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Tesh.
And I'm Marshall Seas. We're in storm alert as Hurricane Frances draws painfully closer to Florida.
The clock is ticking, and Frances is just hours from making landfall. It remains a Category 2 hurricane and is still extremely dangerous.
The battle between man and nature played out in West Palm Beach earlier today. A man raced to save a yacht that had broken loose from a dock in Frances's ferocious winds and waves. Wow.
Let's give you the latest information that we have here on Frances. Right now, it is 70 miles to the east of Palm Beach, Florida. It is packing some top wind speeds still of 105 miles per hour. Notice, too, that it is stationary now.
And here is you can see the very discernible eye. And the last time the eye distance between eye walls was recorded, it was over 30 miles. That could be a 3 to 6 hour time from the time the eye wall will pass somebody until the eye wall moves through. Little Harbor, Bahamas hit 115-mile-per-hour wind gusts as the hurricane moved near them.
But we are dedicated to keeping you ahead of this dangerous hurricane, and we have the team in place to cover Frances.
Our hurricane expert, Dr. Steve Lyons, will join us with the very latest. Mike Seidel is in West Palm Beach, and Jim Cantori is in Palm Bay. Both are already feeling the effects.
And we're going to turn it over now to Mike Seidel. We're going to start with you. And how are things working down there? It looks like you're really getting knocked around by those strong winds.
We have been hit pretty hard today. We've had wind gusts anywhere from 70 to 90 miles an hour, about 71 officially at the Palm Beach Airport. Behind me is the Intercoastal Waterway separating West Palm Beach from Palm Beach, and basically you can't go across the bridges and get over there for safety purposes. Well, look at the waves being churned up by these hurricane-force wind gusts. We've also seen numerous boats floating by. They got disconnected from their dock and from their moorings. That's what we've seen. As far as the rough water continues, we've got 12 to 15 waves out on the beaches. Boats have been, again, blown off their moorings. A lot of palm trees have been stripped of their branches. And the rainfall now, about 3.5 inches, a little over 3.5 inches storm total. And again, as we're seeing on the radar right now, the storm is not moving. In the meantime, if it's not moving, the winds will continue to howl. Check out some of these wind gusts. Peak wind gusts so far, Jupiter Inlet, 91 miles an hour. Up at Boca Raton, 80. And here at Palm Beach at the airport, which is shut down like most airports in this part of the state of Florida, we've had wind gusts just officially below hurricane force. But keep in mind, the airport is inland. Let's get the latest on what we're thinking as far as Frances goes. Steve, I've been watching the radar on the Weather Channel and the satellite truck, and it looks like to me that it is just thrown on its brakes and it's not moving.
That's exactly right, Mike. It's stopped offshore, and that's very bad for the coastline, and it's bad for the rainfall potential along the Florida coast. Let's look at the latest satellite image, and I'll show you. You can see there a very big white area of cloud, and the center swirling around there. The eye of the circulation is very large, and the good thing about that is we don't think it's going to be able to strengthen real fast with a 60 to 70 mile wide eye. That's very rare to see that happen. But the problem is that the strong winds around it are much greater, so that's going to carve a much broader core of damage, primarily wind damage in the form of power lines down, trees broken, minor damage inland, a little stronger damage right at the coastline. Now let's look for a second at the radar, and you can see that pretty much what Mike just said, it's not moving much at all right now. And that's bad news. Waves pounding the coast on the beaches that are exposed to the ocean on the order of 20-foot waves, 15, 18-foot waves. And then, of course, the surge on top of it is occurring right now. That's only right now about 3 to 5 feet, in some areas a little more. But this band up in here has got all the strong winds in it. So when it does decide to come on shore, that's when we're going to get the maximum surge in there. Now, this thing could be around over Florida for the next 3 days. It could take 48 hours to completely pass the peninsula, and it spend another 12 to 24 hours up in the Florida Panhandle before it finally goes inland. That's assuming it moves like we expect it to move over the next 24 hours, and this stop that we see right now is temporary. In the meantime, beach erosion could be locally severe from south of St. Augustine Beach down to the Fort Lauderdale area, or just north of Fort Lauderdale in there, right on the north side of the eye wall where all the waves are pounding and the strong winds are coming on shore. Very, very dangerous situation there. I know it's not going to kill anybody if you're off the beach, but when you go back to the beach and don't see any sand, that's going to be quite a bit different. Look, now you see the heavy rain going there and inland. Let's go back to Marshall now.
I'll tell you, Steve, there's some people that are enjoying a pretty nice day. Like if you head to the UGA game, playing South Georgia or Georgia Southern, that's in Athens at 3 o'clock. Nice day for that. But as Steve also mentioned, stream of tropical moisture here means thunderstorms in South Texas. There'll also be some showers and thunderstorms across Mississippi and Alabama. And, of course, as Dr. Lyons mentioned, too, this will have an impact on Tampa, St. Pete, and northwestern communities in Florida. Heather?